nothing. I don't know if this is even going to pick up much of my voice because the AC is going and fan going because it's probably not even noon yet and over 100 degrees. I think when I looked at my phone this morning at 6:30, it was already close to 90. So it only dips down to like when the temperature are above 100 degrees. We're sitting at usually during the daytime 105 to 110. I think we hit 116 a few days ago. So when it gets that hot during the day, it don't cool off around here. It's just dirt and cement. So the temperatures only get down to like the high 80s. When we dip down, when it's 90 or 100, they'll get down to maybe the low 80s. But you can't have your windows open. You have to, like right now I have an insulation thingy in here. I usually have this, let me see if I can turn the camera a little bit. So that's my window. And usually I'd have this open, I can sit here and get fresh air, but it has this reflective stuff to keep the heat out. And I have one in my other smaller window over there too, because it's just, we're hitting the hottest time of the day here coming up. I think we're gonna be 114 today. Those are just stupid temperatures, like stupid. I'm from, my whole life I lived in the Pacific Northwest, Seattle area. Generally somewhere around that area I lived my whole life. The weather is completely different here, and the heat is terrible for my brain tumors. It's the worst thing. Heat is the worst thing for them, But we only came here thinking I had 3 weeks to 3 months, and I'm just hanging on. This is cannabis. This is cannabis. This is cannabis, and me wanting to prove I'm not crazy and that doctors denied me care. It's just, that's what keeps me going. And I'm not here anymore, really. I'm not a person anymore. There's no human contact, I have the homeless girl living with us, but she's at one end of the house, I'm at the other, She's young, super young. She just turned 19. So I want to parent her and take care of her, instead of having her, and she doesn't know what's going on. She sees I'm sick and stuff like that, but she doesn't know what to do. She's young. She's also autistic, and I'm probably somewhere on the spectrum too, okay? Like, I know I'm probably, no, I'm not saying that's a joke. I'm probably pretty somewhere on the spectrum, how I am. So I'm not putting her down. It's just communication and all that kind of stuff is just difficult. She does what she can, but I'm pretty much 95% of my time I'm alone. And now with the temperatures like this, I can't even get outside to go sit in my chair. It's just too damn hot. We got a pool put up in the yard, but I can only get in that thing when Michael helps me get in it because it's got a steep ladder, and just getting up that ladder on the days I can, I'm happy that on the days I can, because I get out there and I'm like, there's no way every day I'm like, how am I going to get up this ladder? And I do it because I want to get in the water. Michael's trying to make something, more of a deck around it, so I don't have to climb up the ladder. I just have to make a little step or something to get in it, because it's nice to get in that water and float around and just kind of get out of this, because this is where I exist, is in this bedroom. And I need to do a video later of just what this place looks like. But some days I can get out. I'm trying to make myself once a day get out the living room, but it's just to go sit on that, and it's an uncomfortable couch, to go stare at another TV screen, because literally this is all I have beside my bed is just a tablet. I I got just some groovy music going on here right now. But this is all I got beside my bed. This is my entertainment, and then I got this big old cool speaker down there. And that's my entertainment. Whatever app I can, Netflix, Hulu. I think I got sci-fi on there now because I'm watching Resident Alien. I love alien shit. But it's just shuffling through the different apps. And I'm grateful I have them, though. I never watched TV before I got sick. Never. I was not a TV person at all. I didn't have a show I watched. Anything like that. Yeah, I didn't have... when cable was a thing, I only had cable in the house or internet for my kids. I was always busy doing something else, you know, just going to the gym. There's something to be done around the house. I loved always decorating and organizing the house and reading a book. I missed that since the brain tumors. I can't read a book. I can read stuff on a paper briefly, but it's a lot of times I got to go back over and read. So the pleasure of reading is gone. So much is just gone, that's taken from me, and I have to just keep sitting here. I'm literally, I hate to say this, but I don't want to die, but I want my suffering to end. I don't want this to be my life no more. If I can't get a doctor, everyone thinks I'm crazy and I'm just going to sit in a bed in shitty Arizona. I don't want this to be my life anymore. I don't want to go like kill myself, like all dramatically swallow some pills or whatever like that. I want to be allowed to medically end my life with someone who's going to, you know, calmly and lovingly, you know, help me drink a tea, you know, that's going to put me to sleep for good. Because what I exist in is hell on earth. I have a spouse that is abusive because I don't know what the hell was wrong with them. I tell him, if you can't take care of me, get me to somebody else, then please call my children. He refuses. So here I am, just here rambling on and rambling on and rambling on. But my mind, it's gone, you know? I don't have any human interaction. I haven't for years. We came to Arizona thinking I was going to be gone, and, you know, I'd be gone in like a couple weeks or a couple months, and Michael could have his family because his parents live in Golden Valley, Arizona, where we originally came to. And then after I passed, he could just, you know, be with his parents and then move his life on. But, you know, I'm still here, and he's pissed I'm still here, you know? He's sick of taking care of someone who's, you know, dying. There's 3 brain tumors in my head. The largest one is 14 millimeters. I had to go look up what 14 millimeters was because no doctor's ever shown me. I have no idea, and it says 14 millimeters. Go Google it. It's what I had to do. I say those words, and it's just like, I can't believe, like, that is my reality. Of course people think I'm crazy. I had to Google what a 14 millimeter picture of a 14 millimeter marble. And that's sitting dead center in my brain on my pineal gland. Your pineal gland is like this, it's like the size of a grain of rice, and it's pine cone shaped. Go look it up. Scientists I don't even think know what the hell it is. But with the tumor pushing on that thing, that's where my nausea and the vomiting are coming from. Then there's 2 other tumors somewhere. I don't know how big they are. I don't know where they're at. I have a feeling that one of them is in the back here somewhere because I get these pulling and weird sensations behind my ear and kind of this side back here. Like if someone were to put duct tape and kind of pull down, sometimes I'll get those. But who knows? It could just be from laying in bed all the time and my neck being all weird, you know. But to have the fact that there's MRI proof, an MRI found January 2020, 3 tumors. And the doctors just said, yeah, so what? We don't care. Make us try to give you, you know, care. And that doesn't work. So I sit here with no emotion and just talking like this because I'm gone. I've been crying nonstop for just, weeks. Because it's all hitting me, that it's hopeless. And then dealing with the stuff about my serial killer father, the interview coming up. Well, it's past now, but it was coming up. So I was just, I didn't want to deal with him. There was too much dealing with my health. I mean, I wanted to deal with him, I just couldn't. So I have these letters. I went on this show. I went on that interview for that TV documentary, docuseries. People Magazine investigates surviving a serial killer. And that wasn't last week. I know I just feel like I rambled all the time, and people are just like, oh, look at that poor crazy woman, look at her, she just rambling. Coming up to the interview, when they told me the date, it's going to be June 10th, it was just, I don't like to cry. I really don't, and all it seemed like I did for the weeks leading up to it was just cry. The day and night before, that's in the interview, like, I know I look really bad in the interview. My eyes are just all puffy and everything, and just, from just crying all the time. But I read the letter that I wrote Forrest, and then I read his response. And as I sit here, I'm just like, and this happened in the interview too. It's just like, when I first sat down in the chair for the interview, and they had the big bright light shining on me and stuff. How long I've already rambled on for, what does it say? 12 minutes, jeez. Okay, so I don't want to make these too long. But when I sat down in the interview chair, and then, one of those big like umbrella lighting things, this big bright light shining on me, and I'm stressing out because I know I don't look good. I was barely able to pick out the outfit that I put on for the interview, and all I kept thinking I had to get out of the house to go find something because I have nothing here. All I have is, jammies and stuff that I wear and a pair of cutoffs. I don't have any clothes. So to go into a clothing store I hadn't been in one in years. I think I'd been to like this little crappy mall when me and Michael first got here. Yeah, so it'd been years since I'd been like in a store to get like, Michael's rolled me through Walmart and stuff like that, but that's just, that's Walmart. So we go into, I think it was Ross, because I don't want to, Target, is being boycotted because of, they're not a good company. DEI stuff. They don't respect women and brown people, so we don't shop at Target. So here, I'm just babbling. So we go into Ross, and it's hot out. It's 100, I think it was like 100 something that day. So to get out of, and we got to go in Michael's company van so he can put my chair in it. And I don't know why we didn't take the car. I don't know. So he has to get my chair out, get me in the chair, and then going through the parking lot to get into the store. That heat beating down, it just makes my body just kind of just melt. The symptoms and everything, my body literally melts. So I'm trying to get in the store. He's getting me in there. My brain hasn't been around people or been outside, I think we went out to a little Mother's Day brunch, and that was a lot. So it'd been a couple weeks. So getting into a store again and getting around people again and being sick and just the stress of I'm knowing what I'm picking an outfit out for, and it's just, I'm trying to be positive, but it's a lot. It's overwhelming, and it's Ross, so it's kind of an upscale, it's not thrift store, but I mean, it's not, I like Ross, you know, but it's the clothing aisles and stuff are a lot. There's not a lot of organization sometimes. So I'm just like, Michael, I just need to get a sundress or something. Just a sundress and like a shawl or something to put over me. Nothing. I'm thinking, when I went in there to get clothes for this interview, I was thinking, how would you dress for like a memorial service? Not like a heavy duty funeral, but just like if someone were going to stand out on a spring or summer day, you know, for memorial service. So I was just thinking a sundress, and I'm just, my brain's not taking anything, and I'm about ready to just, you know, call it quits, and just, I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do. And Michael's pulling out different things, and I finally it's just a black, it was just this black polyester, just like one piece short set with just like a little tie off to the side. And I took that back to the dressing room, and I also got a white sundress, but they said white wasn't good for the camera and stuff. So I put the thing on. I don't know how I even managed to get into the dressing room and get dressed and get it on. But it is just a basic little black. The pictures are on there. I really wish I would have got a scarf or something to cover up, you know, my arms and all that kind of stuff, but I was just doing the best I could to get that, you know. And then I got like some sparkly, just black flip-flops. And I put in basic silver hoops and just this basic little necklace. And that's the look I wanted to portray, was just like going to like a light-hearted, like you would a celebration of life memorial service, you know, because the interview I'm going to, I'm going to be, you know, discussing, you know, murdered young women, you know, and bad things that happened in my life. But it's also, I wanted to honor these women, you know, and not, yeah, so I wanted to look like a memorial service, even though I have my hair like this, you know, the bright colors. This was also just my way of like, I like the blue. It makes me happy, you know, and to still show, you know, those girls were vibrant and had vibrant, bright lives, and their lives were snatched from them. And as funny as it seems and stuff like this, I also wanted to show something just like bright and fun, you know, and that was my hair. I didn't mean it to really be this as bright as it was, but that was another day of going to the salon trying to get my hair done. Ooh. But it was nice talking to the lady who did my hair and stuff like that. It was a lot, but it was fun. So going to that interview, it was just they rented a house not too far from here, and they had a car come pick me up because I didn't know if Michael. I didn't really want Michael to. They said, "We'll send a car for you." I'm like, "Good," and get there, and it's a house, and they got all their equipment and the filming stuff and, you know, furniture moved, but they had the area, you know, where they had it set up for me, and it was overwhelming at first to walk in the door and see it, but the people, oh my god, their energy was so nice and so sweet, and they were just, it was, so they show me into like a little side bathroom little area where I can, you know, kind of fix my face and get ready and stuff like that, and if I wanted to change my clothes, I'm like, this is all I got, guys, so I hope this is good enough. I don't think they were thrilled with it, but it's, you know, it's all I had. I think the shorts, they didn't rise up too high, but you can see in the pictures and the video and stuff that I posted of it. And I knew looking in that bathroom mirror and how that bad bathroom lighting, I was looking at my face and I was just like, this is bad. I don't look like how I want to look, but I don't have a choice. You know, I threw on a little bit of mascara. I don't even know how I did. I couldn't really see, trying to put on makeup and needing glasses, and I didn't need glasses before the brain tumors and stuff like that, and I've never been a big makeup person. I mean, I like looking like a girly and putting on makeup, but I've never worn a lot of it. I like a little bit of eyeliner, draw my eyebrows on, and some really good, you know, mascara. You know, I don't like putting a blush on or any foundation. Lipstick I'm really tricky with because it always just, I'm a dork and a nerd. It always ends up on my teeth. It ends up smudged or smeared, and just so I'm a lip gloss kind of girl with a little bit of liner drawn on. I was not happy with my lip color. I was not happy with my makeup. I think my eyebrows were too dark. But I was like, forget it. They're gonna be lighting me up, hopefully, and making me look a little bit better with the lighting. And I just went walking out of that bathroom and going to sit down in that chair with the camera in front of me. That was the final. I just had to just like let it all go. Your appearance does not fucking matter ever. It's just, it's nice, I guess, if you look nice, but it's not all this. This is not what we're here about. My appearance. I'm here to talk about, murdered young women. I need to let my vanity and everything go for these girls and use my voice. So it was hard sitting down in that chair knowing I'm gonna look, and this is gonna be recorded and played for a while. It's for People magazine. I just had to let it go and I had to focus on my voice and what I had to say and not worry about what I look like. I could kind of see a little screen a little bit off where I could kind of see myself, but I didn't have glasses on, so I couldn't. I sat down in the chair though, the bright light, and the people looked at me, and they had good energy and stuff like that. They were nice, friendly people. And as I'm sitting there, they hand me, because I've given to them to look at before, they hand me the letter that Forrest wrote me back. And as it just kind of goes across me, and I put it on the table next to me, I see his handwriting, and it's very distinctive, handwriting of a serial killer. And I that's from a movie line. I shouldn't have said it. It sounds disrespectful, but in the movie Steel Magnolias, she says something about to her friend. She's like, "You got the handwriting of a serial killer." And I mean, if you do look at it, he's got some pretty handwriting. But in that moment when they passed it across to me to put down the table next to me, it felt like a ton of bricks like hitting my chest as it passed me, because it was like it hit me that this has been in his hands. This is him. Like, it was like he was intruding upon the interview. I could see his handwriting, and it shows he wrote his address. And I sat down next to me before the interview started, and I got really emotional. I had to get I just started crying. It was all hitting me, that this is real, that the interview is going to happen. And I don't want the focus to be on Forrest, but, I'm going to read these letters. So let me get down to that. This is what I read. How long have I rambled on now? See, almost 23 minutes I've already rambled on. So the dating of the letter and how I addressed it, I wanted to be very specific. October 2nd, I wrote this 2023. October 2nd is the day he got arrested. So this was dated literally 49 years to the date that he was arrested. I struggled with how I was going to address him. There was going to be no father or dad. That was no fucking way I was going to address it. But I wasn't sure if I was going to do Forrest or Warren. And I was working with one of the original detectives from this case, because I was even sicker then. I couldn't, my cognition was even worse. So he helped me with the draft of what he thought would sound good and stuff like that. And he was very respectful. He's like, I don't want to speak for you. You put this now into your own words, kind of. But he helped me. I don't want to show any affection toward this person. I don't want this person to think I like them, but you have to be nice to somebody to get something out of them. You can't just go rah at somebody and say, okay, no, be nice to me and give me what I want. So I think I did address it as Warren, which so this is dated 49 years to the date. And I sent this to him, because we're trying to get answers. And I was talking with some of the victims, and I hate saying victims, family members, and one of the original detectives who's been working on this case, for 50 plus years. So I addressed it. I said, Warren, I'm writing to you because I'm looking for some answers and truth, and I don't want my last memories of you to be as hurtful as they are now. I want to keep this letter as short as possible and not waste my time if you choose not to respond. My health is extremely bad, as I have 3 brain tumors, the largest 14 millimeter, and sitting on my pineal gland, that are most likely going to end my life soon. I don't want to die without at least trying to know you and maybe understand you more. There isn't much need to talk about all that has happened in the past. You will die in prison because of what you're responsible for, the multiple rapes, tortures, and murders of innocent young women. And I guess there isn't a need to talk about how all of this has devastated my life. What's done is done. I know by talking with others involved in your case, there was the law enforcement and stuff like that, another lady doing a podcast, who passed along your message to me, and also by talking with some others still working several cases that they suspect your involvement in. Their concern and mine is learning exactly what happened to several others, including Jamie Grissom, whose ID was found not far from 2 of your victims, where your victims were found in Dole Valley. The people I have spoken with involved in law enforcement admit they have nothing to gain by dragging you through another trial, because your punishment won't change. You're behind bars till you die. I and others involved, victims and victims' family, I hate saying the word victim, and even original law enforcement on your very first conviction, just want closure and healing. I would love to one day fully understand why you did these horrible things, but if that can't happen, I would like to peacefully leave this earth when my time is up, having known that my natural father opened up in the end and helped us all have some closure and healing. And I signed it Leslie. That's it. I just signed it Leslie, nothing else. Just, which a name I don't want to use anymore, because his name is Warren Leslie Forrest. My birth name is Leslie Ann Forrest. I hate saying that name anymore. So, okay, so let's just round this up. It'll be about a half hour of this video. Now let me just read his response. And this is pretty much exactly what I was expecting. And he writes, Dear Leslie, I received your letter. It took some time to find its way to me, because when you wrote my address, you left out my unit and cell and used an incorrect Department of Corrections number. Oh well. And then he gives his address and DOC number and stuff like that. And I'll post this too again if Warren Forrest, I guess his DOC number is 287319. It's so weird that, numerology, I like that kind of stuff. Each set of numbers adds up to 10. And it's some numerology stuff that kind of freaks me out and stuff like that, but it's ugh. So Warren Forrest, doc number 287319. He's at Airway Heights Correction Center, P.O. Box 2049, Unit K as in kite, Cell KA Alpha, KA. His cell is KA36, Airway Heights, Washington, 99001-2049. I'll probably post a screenshot of that too, just if anybody wants to write him a letter. Also tell him what a piece of crap he is. And then it goes on to say, I'm sorry beyond words that life has been so cruel for you, especially since I have been a large part of your unhappiness. I have endless regrets about not being there for you when you were growing up. Regrets compounded by the dreadful choices I've made. See, so he admitted right there some, you know. I think about you often, but not without sadness and regret. I continue wish I could change the past. I would like for us to get to know each other better. I have thought numerous times how it would be if we are a positive part of each other's life. I think my phone's ringing. I think Michael's calling in right now. Okay, I don't know if that messed up the reading, if the phone call coming in. Okay, so let me start over. It says, I would like for us to get to know each other better. I have thought numerous times how it would be if we were a positive part of each other's life. Gross. If our communication is dependent on my confession to additional crimes, I am afraid our relationship will cease to exist before it has a chance to begin. You're always on my mind and in my heart. And he wrote, love, Warren. It's pretty much exactly what I expected. Pretty much exactly what I expected. But that's that, you know. And I got to read that on my interview. And I mentioned, you know, I talked about how my mother's involvement has been passed over, that, you know, she destroyed evidence. You know, she needs to be brought in and talked about what she saw in those boxes before she, you know, destroyed or got rid of stuff. You know, was there some things of Jamie in there? School, like, you know, because I know they found some of her, and this is not, I'm not for certain the items, but I think it was her, some school ID or something by where they found some other victims. So was there something else in there that Sharon got rid of, that, you know, papers or something that said Jamie's name on it, or clothing, or, you know, how they keep trinkets and stuff from their victims? I want Sharon brought in for formal questioning, and I brought that up. But also the most important part of the interview was, you know, I gotta say, and I know I don't speak right and I can't get words out right, but my affection towards these young women and the survivors, Norma, who survived and got away and is the reason why he's locked up, you know, the full story needs to come out. And it's going to take Warren confessing, you know, Forrest confessing. And like I've said in the interview, and I don't know what they're going to air, I was interviewed for like 4 hours. It was a lot longer than I thought it was. But I've stayed, and I'll say it again, as long as I'm not too physically able to, but I would make it a point to get there, to sit down with him face to face. So I have some peace of mind now, knowing that my voice is going to be, you know, forever. After I'm gone, even, I said some things that people can look into, and hopefully that's how the true crime community works, is, you know, people like to help with these things. So I'm hoping, I don't know, how more people writing him letters and just, you know, I want to say trying to get on his good side and get to his heart, but I don't even know if he has one, you know, to get him to just say, I would like to sit down with him face to face, look at him in the face and go, I'm leaving this planet pretty soon. You're no spring chicken. Let's do something together. If it has to be, you know, just tell us where Jamie's at. Her sister wants to lay her to rest. What do I have to do for you, Warren? You know, to give us some answers. And I'm willing to do this, but I don't know. Nobody is coming towards me to get this to happen, so we'll see. I just filmed this thing last week, so now I just want to go put this letter like away. I almost want to burn it, you know, because I have pictures of it. Because I hate the fact that this is something he touched, and you know, it's in my just around me. It's just that's how gross and evil I think he is, you know. Okay, I said my piece on that. I don't know what else there is to say. I mean, I got a lot to say. That's the thing. I'm overwhelmed. This podcast. But I just look on the camera here and how I talk and how I sound, and I know people just think I'm crazy. So every time I go to record the podcast, I'm just like, people are just going to think you're crazy. None of what you're saying it sounds crazy. But I have to. I just have to put the podcast out there and not worry about what anybody thinks. It'll just be my final say so about what's happening to me with the medical stuff and the, you know, serial killer father. So now I'm going to turn off this camera and I'll just be back to I just sit in this room. Just sit in this room. I'm just waiting to die. No doctor. Nobody to talk to, because nobody wants to even email. I've been, you know, ghosted by every single person I've ever known. It's a lot to be sick and just want just a little bit of, you know, human contact and nurturing and just. But my spouse, he's looked at me and said, you know, hurry up and die or get a job. You know, the bills need to get paid. He says he refuses to get me any help. He refuses to try to get me any help. So what am I supposed to do? Anybody I talk to thinks I'm crazy because why is your spouse not helping? Okay. Let's say it's starting to get warm in here. Here comes the AC. I wish I could do more. I wish I could do more to get some closure in this case. But I fight every day just to be able to sit up and talk and get something to eat as my body's just doing, I don't know what it's doing. I need just basic medical attention. I'm being denied. And when you say that, people think you're crazy. So I think the next letter the next person I'm going to write to and read out loud is to Luigi. I cannot, Manglione. I don't know if I'm saying the last name right. The alleged shooter of that healthcare CEO person. And I'm going to read that letter, I think, on here. Okay, I've rambled on long enough. Oh yeah, almost 40 minutes. Okay. No, I'm going to go put these back in a filed away. I don't want these anywhere around. And I think Michael had just called in. Okay, y'all. That's done. Oh, and the People magazine, the interview that I did, surviving a serial killer. Go Google that. There's one season already. This is going to be for the second season, and they said in about 6 months, so probably sometime this winter. Let's hope I'm still here to see it, and I'll post more about when it's coming out. But I really got to get off this Facebook and focus on the podcast. But it's just me coming on here wanting to, like, you know, it's dumb that I always have to try to prove myself that I'm not crazy and stuff like that. And I just gotta stop it, you know. I shouldn't have to prove myself. But I'll post this on Facebook, and then I gotta just focus on this podcast and just do this. Just turn on. Just turn the camera on like I do here and turn this off. I just hit record, and instead of putting it on Facebook, I just need to put it on Spotify. Okay, y'all? I'll post pictures of it too, so if you guys want to just read it for yourselves.